Thank you for staying with us here on Joy 99.7 FM, celebrating 25 years of media excellence, and it's 25 years of joy as well. We don't live in extremely joyous times, but we make the best out of the situation. I hope you are well, I hope you are healthy, and I hope you are staying fit, staying okay, and hopefully staying home. We have a job to do, and that's why we are here. I'm Gary Al Smith with the Joy Sports Track. It's the show that tries to review what has happened during the weekend. Not much, if you know what I mean, and also to preview what's going to happen during the week as well. This week, and you can be sure that the entire world will be hoping that that virus called corona or coronavirus will go away from us so that we can start our normal lives. Here at the Multimedia Group, it's affected us in many ways as well, and I can imagine that for those we report on, that's the sporting federations, the players, and everybody else that's a stakeholder have also been affected in one way or other. If you've been following our coverage on our various platforms, we've been looking at things like how sports betting firms have been affected, how cable channels have been affected, and also how the football players have also been affected. George Addo went to speak to one of the popular vendors at the stadium the last time. That the Accra Mate go, for those of you at the Accra Stadium, is the guy, on the lower deck of the VIP stand, and essentially he's not getting anything to sell because nobody's coming to the stadium. So we keep looking at how it's affecting people, and of course, for the high-level players, they are not exempt. Arguably, the European-based players are feeling the pinch more than our locally-based players because of where they are in the world. And as you know also, Europe is the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic now, and Italy is bearing the brunt in many, many ways. That one, seeing documentary after documentary detailing how dead bodies are, being taken out by the dozen in Italy, and it's a really sad story. We'll be speaking to Kwadwo Asamoah, Ghana and Inter Milan player, pretty shortly. But in the studio with me is Muftau Nabila as well. This weekend, apart from all the gloomy news on social media, it's been pretty interesting watching people take part in the stay-at-home challenge.
You actually want me to comment on this? Because
sure. The stay-at-home challenge. Can you explain what it is to our listeners?
Well, the stay-at-home challenge is actually a challenge where if you are bored, what do you do? So it started that people use the T-roll to show their skills juggling with the if it was a ball. Let's assume it was a ball. How do you juggle with the ball? So you use it with the T-roll, and it's been on. And yesterday we were all in there. Gary, how many times were you able to carry on?
I hit the roll, I think 15 times.
Okay, it seems mine was just 4.
Yeah, but in your case, Muftar, I should tell you, I mean, he had the role,
yeah,
and then he put it down and took an actual ball,
yes, so
which doesn't count. We had other journalists also doing it. No,
I actually didn't want to go the fake way because I thought people would say that.
No, but you see, we can all use the football. The football is easier to use.
No, but I wanted to show the world that I was not called Zidane for nothing.
Anyway, so we've seen, so the way it works is that when you do it, you tag somebody else to also essentially take part in the stay-at-home challenge. This morning, we've been seeing some people from the Black Stars technical team doing that. David Duncan started it. Ibrahim Tanko actually, started it among the Black Stars technical team.
Yes.
He called out a couple of journalists, and then eventually it went to David Duncan, who did his best, but it's Siki Akono, the Black Stars coach, who actually raised the bar.
If your coach is doing this, you're carrying your players actually. CK, he took it to a different height. He turned it to a World Cup final itself. And trust me, I'm not sure many of us had expected that CK would come and blow all of us apart. Considering that this was just something we took it for a joke, not knowing that he was. And the former chief executive officer of Accra House of Oak, Mark Noonan, he also did something
that was really good,
spectacular. But some of the journalists, Gary, you saw that of George, you saw that of Benedict, you saw that of Oracle Ampofo.
George Addo Jr.
Yeah, George Addo Jr., Benedict, Oracle,
myself.
It's been fun. If you haven't seen it, just go on social media and go for the hashtag stay at home challenge, and you'll have it.
Or find it anyway. That's on a lighter note, but very serious things are happening. So we'll be speaking to Kojo Asamoah in about 10 minutes. Interestingly, the Ghana Olympic Committee and the global Olympic family have also been affected. Everybody has been waiting for the Olympics to either be postponed or suspended altogether. They are becoming one of the last large-scale events to cancel. And this morning there was a statement from President Bach, the IOC boss, essentially stating that he has spoken to members of the Olympic family to get an idea of what the situation is. And essentially, he's saying that because of the serious nature of the pandemic and the fact that so many athletes are in various stages of preparation because their countries are unable to work it out or to
organize competitions or get themselves prepared.
Yes. They are heading towards a suspension, isn't that the case?
Yes, definitely. But one interesting thing he actually did mention was that he said that human lives take precedence over everything, including staging of the games. At the end of this dark tunnel, we are all going through. At the end of this dark tunnel, we are all going through together, not knowing how long it is. The Olympic flame will be the light at the end of the tunnel. That's what he's basically saying. But President of the World Athletics, Sebastian Coe, he's joined others who have said that it should be postponed. There's also the Canada athletes being withdrawn from participating. Australia are also threatening to withdraw and all that. I just think that the International Olympic Committee is becoming the most difficult institution to work with. But I also understand them in a bit because just like the president mentioned, we don't know when this is going to end. There's a possibility that next week coronavirus will disappear from the system. If it does disappear, what it means is that life returns to normalcy. So they wouldn't rush into making a decision because the Olympic Games are expected to start somewhere July 24. So if you're going to make a decision now, what it means is that you might be postponing a competition, not knowing when that is going to happen. So they still have more time to decide on whether to organize the games or get them postponed.
Okay, so more on the Olympics.
I was going to say that we don't have to be hypocritical because we've said that football should be done. Remember, domestically should be done by June 30th. Have you been saying that?
Sure.
June 30th. And Olympics is in July. So if football can happen, why can't the Olympics happen? And Olympics is bigger than the World Cup.
We'll find... We'll get that perspective in a bit. 0244340437. If you think the Olympics should be cancelled or suspended or they should wait a bit more, I think it should be cancelled immediately right now. But let's go to Italy and speak to Kojo Asamoah, Black Star and Inter Milan player. Kojo, good afternoon and thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Yes, so let me just give a background to the situation where you are right now for listeners who I'm sure are very clued into what's going on now. Italy has more than 53,000 recorded infections of the coronavirus and more than 4,800 dead. And the rate of increase keeps growing, with more than half the cases and fatalities coming in the past week. And on Saturday, officials reported 793 additional deaths, which is by far the largest single-day increase so far. Italy has surpassed China as the country with the highest death toll, becoming the epicenter of a shifting pandemic. And obviously the Ghanaian interest has been high on our agenda here at Joy News. You heard Evans Mensah speaking to Ghanaians in Italy the other day, the Ghanaian students who initially wanted to come home. Now they say they don't want to come home because the danger is also here. But for people like Kojo Asamoah who are fit, they are young, the myth was that, fit and young people basically could not get the virus, but we have seen more and more fit and young people affected by the virus. So that's where I'll start, Kojo. Are you surprised at the number of people who are working out every day, who are exercising every day, who are young like you are, getting the coronavirus, Kojo?
I'm not surprised because the virus doesn't know anything about sports, or you're a banker, or you're a minister or a president. We are all human beings. We are just sports players. football players. So, what I would say is I'm not surprised because this virus can attack any person, no matter who you are.
Yeah. This morning we've seen one athlete, in fact, who was about to go for the Olympics, saying that he's just come out of 14 days of quarantine, and he is saying that, look, it is no joke, even though he's so physically conditioned and all that. I saw your very, very good friend Romelu Lukaku have an interview with Ian Wright and talk about how difficult things are. Explain to me, Kojo, how much your life has been disrupted by this virus.
Well, it hasn't been easy because looking at the cases that we've had here, like me myself, we played against Juventus, and Juventus was my ex-team. So that means the staff, the players that are still playing for Juventus are still my friends. We made contact because we were happy to see each other. We said hello to each other, and then we were just joking around. And some few days after the game, that's when I heard Rugani has been infected by the virus, and also Matuidi. So I got scared a little bit because this virus, you can get it through like contact and then the distance. So I was quite a bit scared. For the past weeks, I've been home for about 14 to 15 days. But anytime that I feel a bit strange, I feel a bit scared because you never know when you have this virus. And a few days ago, I heard Dybala also had it. So it hasn't been easy for me as a player. Before we tried to stop the league, which we couldn't, and then we played that last game. And just hoping nothing happens. But for me right now, it's not easy for me. Every day I wake up, I always try. The first thing I check is to see if I'm okay. I also watch the news to see what is going on. So it's like a hell right now.
Yeah. I want to touch on the part where you say when you wake up, you check if you're okay. Take us through what you do. For those of us who are in Ghana, we don't have a lot of test kits, and so we essentially have to take care of ourselves through social distancing and stuff like that. But you are in Italy, and from the news we hear, your hospitals are overwhelmed. There's a shortage of test kits as well. So how do you practically make sure that you are fine? What do you actually do?
Because for now we've been home for 15 days, trying to stay away from people. That's the first thing, because these things can be very dangerous when you go to crowded places. And also making sure you wash your hands every time you think you've done something that is not, because washing your hands is very important.
Yes.
As a human being, there's no way you'll not be touching your faces. We've been doing this. Me, for example, I used to do this a lot, but with the virus, I'm trying so hard to learn all the methods that have been given to us by not touching our faces, washing our hands, and then keeping our way from people. So I think that's the only way we can solve this. And the only thing, as me as a Ghanaian, advising my country is to listen to our doctors, because this virus can be very dangerous and can kill a lot of people.
Kojo, on that note, a lot of people, I'm sure you've seen on social media, videos of people at beaches in Accra, chilling as if there's nothing at stake. People gathering in what do I say it again? Gathering and having parties and stuff like that as if it's a joke. I need you to explain to us, as somebody who is at the center of all these deaths, give us a warning we will not forget about how bad this virus is from a personal point of view, what you've experienced.
With my experience, I think maybe our people are taking this thing as a joke, because here in Italy, when we got this virus, people didn't really take this virus seriously because they were thinking it was just a flu. By the time they realized a lot of people has been dead already, I would say this is not something that we should take for a joke because me for myself, I've not been myself for the past 2 weeks. I'm always living as a scared person, thinking about my family, myself, because you have kids at home, you have your parents at home, you never know. Maybe you as a young person, you will be able to fight this virus. But thinking about your parents at home, you might lose your father or your mom who are at the age of 60s or 50s because with this virus, as soon as they get infected, they can die quick. So what I would say is we need to stay home. We need to stay safe. Try to wash our hands, and then listen to the president and then the doctors, whatever that they would tell us.
Okay, because I'm here with my colleagues Muftau and George Ado Jr. Hi guys, say hello.
Yeah, hello,
Kojo, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
I don't know. My first question, Kojo, is, how are you managing your life away from football? It's a bit strange for you guys. Tell me, how are you going about it? You wake up and there's no football, there's no training.
Yeah, it's been very difficult. Normally, we used to have holidays after our season, but this time we are home. We're training from home. We've been giving training programs via videos and then other things, and it's not easy for us because we don't have all the equipment that we need to train from the house, and it looks a bit weird, a bit different as a professional player because we never had this kind of experience before. So it's totally different for us now, and it's a kind of difficult moment for all the players and the sports athletes in the world.
So Kojo, how frustrating has it been?
Come again, please.
How frustrating has it been for you people that you're not doing what you are known for, playing football on the pitch, training, entertaining people? How frustrating has it been?
Well, what I would say is it has affected so many things. It's not only football. So many things in this world because apart from football, no one is going to work, including bankers, the kids going to school, students, doctors, and everything. I think it's quite frustrating because it feels useless. For me, this thing has caused a lot of things, a lot of frustrations at home because you wake up and see everywhere so quiet, as if there's nothing going on. It brings like pressure to you as a person. Being head of the family too, you always think about your kids. It's a lot of things, so it's not easy.
A couple of questions on via social media for you, Kojo. We prompted people that we're going to have this interview. Don Castello says, where have you been? Before all this happened, you had a small injury, I believe. And are you fully recovered? Yes. Are you fully recovered? And if you are not,
yes, I am.
You are fully recovered. Yes. Okay. Now.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you are fully recovered. That's great to know. The follow-on question I'd love to ask is, people are saying if coronavirus should vanish right now, hopefully, and football is supposed to start in like next week or in 2 weeks, do you think that Italian football or the players can be ready, have much fitness in a very short time and go again, or the season should be suspended indefinitely, assuming coronavirus vanishes today as we speak?
For now, honestly, for this virus, nobody knows when this is going to be over because just two days ago, the Prime Minister of Italy even gave a message whereby there's no hope. They've done everything to prevent this virus, to reduce the death and everything. but it looks like things are still getting tough and then getting worse every day. Football can't go on now because now we are all fighting to battle this virus, to get back our normal lives. But it's not easy because for now, thinking of playing the league is something that even every player is not thinking about. We are all thinking about our lives now, thinking about our family, how we will stay fit, and then after we will think about food, because it will be very difficult, because staying home for a week and then not having intensive training won't be the same. It will take a long time before you come back to your normal fitness, because normally when we break for a season, even for 3 weeks or a month, we come back for pre-seasons. We take us for like a month or two for us to get prepared for the season, and we've been home for the past almost 4 weeks won't be easy for us to restart the league again, because physically we are not ready. So that's what I can say.
Football doesn't exist in a vacuum, Kojo. You guys have huge numbers of people you work with, from the cleaner to the person who mows the lawns or the grass, to the janitors, the ball boys. It's a huge institution. Apart from those we see you guys communicate with all the time, like the directors, and Kojo, please explain to us how this virus is affecting day-to-day lives around you. Outside your house, I'm sure there's somebody who comes to clean for you. All those people. How do you relate to all those people now? Have they stopped coming?
Yes, for now, we've stopped everyone that has been coming to the house, and we were being warned by our team not to invite anyone to our house, because you never know where the person is coming from.
Sure.
Maybe you might be safe in your house, but the person coming might pass somewhere else. Maybe the person is not safe, and then maybe you and your family might be affected by the virus. And then we got police that have been around. They don't allow people to drive around, so it's not easy to move with car.
I see. And
then the only thing that you can do now is just going to the supermarket once maybe in a week to buy foodstuffs, because that's the only thing that can keep us alive now. And then also to the pharmacy in case of you need a medicine. So these are the two places that you can only go, but it's not something that you can go every day. It's maybe once a week. So it hasn't been easy. And we've got helicopters that have been moving every time just to monitor if people are gathering, or people are just somewhere, just to keep everyone safe. So these things are very important for us as Ghanaians to learn from, because it's not easy. And I know even from here, the first time this thing happened, people were just taking it for a joke. Mm-hmm. But now there's something that we cannot even control. Look at a country like Italy, more developed, with everything, good doctors, but they are still struggling. If you watch the news today, you can see a lot of doctors from different countries
from Cuba
coming in to help.
Yeah, from Cuba are coming in.
Cuba. Yeah, they are all coming in to help, because this situation is even getting double than the one Chinese people had. And so it's something that I will plead on my country and then the people of Ghana to take this thing very seriously, because me in this situation right now, always waking up is like a hell, like always scared.
If you just joined us, we are speaking to Ghana and Inter Milan player Kojo Asamoah, giving us, a personal perspective to how the coronavirus is ravaging Italy, where he's employed and gets his daily bread. As you know, Italy has become the new unwanted number one place where people are dying from the virus. I'm here with Muftau Nabila and George Ado Jr. Kojo Asamoah, also giving us an idea of how family life has been affected. You are there with your wife and your kids, yes?
Yes. Right.
So tell me, who is the doctor in the house and who is the cleaner? Who is doing what? How do you have your timetable, your daily roster? What does it look like?
Oh, we have only 2 kids. The only thing is we make sure they are okay. I try to help them because my wife cannot do it alone. We have been because at this moment, honestly, because I don't stay home.
Yeah,
I don't stay home because we play a lot of games. We train almost every day. So the only times you see your kids, maybe when you come back from training in the evening, or when you have a day off. That's when you see your kids. So now me staying home, helping with cleaning, cooking, bathing, it's so difficult for me.
But Kojo, when I knew you in Dansoman back in the day, and I should tell listeners, I mean, I have the honor of being the first journalist to interview Kojo Asamoah properly, give him a proper interview in his career back in Liberty Professionals. He will tell you. So when I knew you, Charlie, Kojo no bon kwa empao. Kojo?
Oh, no.
Oh, Kojo!
The only thing I could do was, what do you call it?
Gary Soakins.
No, not Gary Soakins.
Yeah.
Eggs. That's it.
Fried eggs.
Oh, fried eggs.
Fried eggs.
So right now, hold on. Right now, what have you been taught how to cook? Now that you say you are helping in the last 15 days, and I'm sure you are going to say pasta.
Yeah, pasta. My kids, they eat it, but not too much.
Okay.
They eat more of rice.
Okay.
So what I do is sometimes when my wife is doing something, I'll be helping her with the little things. Maybe, can you give me this? Can you give me that? I'll maybe helping my son because they have an online classes. So
okay.
Sometimes I will be with him just to help him solving his questions sometimes. So these are the little things that I've been doing.
Oh, nice. So let's touch on that. I mean, they have online classes, so classes have not been interrupted.
Well, they don't go to school, but they do have online classes for the kids every morning around 10 to 11. So sometimes I will be with my son because my daughter is still young because she's still 3 years, so she cannot do that.
Okay.
But my son is always have been doing these classes every day.
Okay. I was just wondering, I mean, Kojo, if we had an interview with your kids and your wife, they are enjoying this all. They enjoy you in the house.
They enjoy you in the house.
But the thing is, it's not easy for everyone because me, if we don't have training for a day, I can stay home all day without going out.
Yeah.
But looking at the situation now, whereby you cannot even go out for how many days now? Almost 1 month.
Yeah.
Just indoors. You can't go anywhere. So for the kids, it's very difficult because kids love to go out sometimes. Just to walk, play around, and stuff. For them, it's very difficult because having kids at home 24/7, I imagine, it's not easy.
Yeah. So northern Italy, where you are, is where it hits the hardest. So I can imagine that a lot of efforts have been put there. But let's talk about your mates. I mean, you are in the team with some world-class players. How are you guys? Are you guys communicating one? And how are you guys communicating? What do you say? What are they saying?
We have a group chat on WhatsApp. So normally, we definitely, in every team you have people that are funny. So they'll be posting funny things.
Like who?
And you'll be laughing.
Like who?
Oh, you like Kandreva, sometimes Lukaku. It depends. Anyone can post anything.
Sure.
Just to laugh. Just to release some stress. But with this situation, it hasn't been easy because most of the players are here alone. They can't go out. They don't know how to cook. But lucky for us, in our team we have a team chef. So what they do now is they prepare the food from there, and then they will be sending it to every home, to every player, because most of the players have sent their families back home.
Okay.
And so they are home alone. So with this kind of help, like, it's really helping us, the players, because if some of them are being alone and cannot cook, what is he going to do? Because he cannot go out and then buy food because all restaurants are closed now. And even if he goes to the supermarket, what is he going to buy because he cannot cook? So the only way they are helping us now is they prepare food for us. So they will bring it in the morning, which is your lunch and your dinner. And they've been doing this for the past 3 weeks, which is helping us, the players.
Okay. Yeah.
Just before you let me go, Kojo, life at this point is the most important thing. But would you say this coronavirus has affected the energy surrounding the team in your charge to win the league?
A lot. It has affected so many things, because even if next week, let's say, imagine like everything is over, restarting will be very difficult because they have to plan again what we are going to do. If they are going to suspend or we are going to play it again, like no one has any idea about the situation now. So it's very difficult.
Right. Thank you, Kojo. And Italy now has, I'm just looking at the ticker. I said more than 4,000 deaths at the start of the interview just to be conservative, but I'm looking at the live ticker and the deaths officially 5,476 deaths recorded in Italy right now. 59,138 cases have been recorded.
Yeah.
And currently infected are 46,638. So that is the reality for Kojo Asamoah. It's not easy. I mean, psychologically, I can imagine that it wouldn't be easy for you, but we are sending you a lot of love and light and hugs and God's protection. I mean, I know you to be a very religious and spiritual person, Kojo, so I know that you'll be doing a lot of prayer and all that. You guys keep safe and please be checking on your other mates. I know Ajiman-Bedu. You know Ajiman-Bedu's story, right?
I spoke to him.
Yeah. Please be checking on him as well. Ajiman-Bedu, for listeners who don't know, he lost his sister also. Last week, somebody shot his sister, murdered his sister in Ghana, and they are looking for the person. So, coupled with the fact that he was in quarantine for, about 14 days as well, it's been a tough time for players like Ajiman-Bedu. Yeah. And like Kojo Asamoah says, some of these players have spent their entire lives being professionals and having people do things for them. So to find themselves in this situation is very, very difficult. So Kojo,
to one point, I have to say this. Look, Kojo, thank you very much for this opportunity, because there are still people in Ghana who feel that this
is a joke,
and I like the way,
and we don't appreciate it that much.
And I like the way Kojo kept on saying we took it for granted in Italy, and so I hope that at least for Kojo's stardom and who Kojo is, and Kojo is here telling us this, I hope that we have taken a lot
and I think the picture he has created should be the perfect tone for most of our leaders in the country who are planning on how to also safeguard the citizenry here, because he has created a picture of how difficult it is for everyone to be at home, not having their normal lives. It's really, really difficult. And if we needed anyone to give us that perfect picture, someone like Kojo Asamoah has created the platform for us to understand how difficult this has been.
Right. Yeah. And that is how we end the interview, taking some of your questions. I've seen some of your questions. In Kojo Joseph, I've seen your question, but I'm using my prerogative right now. This is not the time for me to ask Kojo about, whether he would take his salary and all that. I mean, maybe another time.
It's a very difficult moment, like, especially talking about the situation of Badu, with Ajiman-Bedu. This guy has lost his sister, and then if it was like a normal life, he would have come to Ghana to solve all these problems, or to at least come and see what is going on. But he's been home for the past 14, 15 days alone, without wife or kids or brothers or anybody, just home. With the stress that he has been through or still going through, look at the situation that he got now, losing his sister. So I don't know how we are all suffering, but I don't know how he is going to take all these things, because it won't be easy for him at all. So we should just take this as an example as Ghanaians, because this thing can be very dangerous the way we see it, because here day by day it's been increasing. You know, all you can hear every day is just ambulance. Like people, like the moment you hear ambulance, they're like, okay, there's someone going, they're taking someone to the hospital. Like, wow. Which is not easy.
Yes. But
we can try and solve this problem now, since we don't have a lot of cases. But if we joke with this thing and it gets out of hand, it's going to be a big problem for our country. So I'm just saying, all stay home and then listen to our doctor's advice. Try to wash our hands and stay healthy.
Excellent. We appreciate your time, Kojo Asamoah, and have a good time as much as you can.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So Ghana, we are 24 cases this morning. I was seeing that South Africa are on 402. And if there is a country that I can use as a cautionary tale about joking with this but having got to Italy, it's South Africa. It's been frightening watching them. Look, as at last week, they were now debating whether to even suspend football. Can you, like, as at
last week, there were about 202 cases.
Yeah. It's been difficult watching from afar South Africa, because, look, we think we are joking with it, but the South African case has been all over the place. So that's Kojo Asamoah speaking to us there. I appreciate his time. Now, though, we started the interview on the note of the Olympic committee, the International Olympic Committee, what they are doing. They are being very, very stubborn. You know, they don't want to just cut the Olympics. They seem to say that they have a good reason for that. So Muftar went to speak to the GOC boss, Ben Nunu Mensah, on what is being done locally to either get our athletes ready or not, or whatever the plan is. Here's the interview with Muftar Nabila.
Some countries are threatening that they will not present athletes for the Olympic Games. From Ghana's perspective, what is your reaction?
Well, that's okay. I'm sure you're talking about Canada and Australia.
Yes.
Let me say that the position of the IOC has never been that we are taking this entrenched position. The games will come on at all costs. Last week, when we all had a teleconference with the IOC president, a lot of these countries raised concern. In fact, I raised concern on behalf of Ghana that, look, the problem has not even peaked in Europe. If you run through, even though in Asia, but even not in the whole of Asia, if you look at Iran, it's really going up in Iran. But most of the athletes are going to come to Tokyo. About 75% of them are going to come from Europe and the Americans. You know, so are we not going to endanger the lives of over 200 people from other countries who would also come to Tokyo? You know, IOC's position or IOC's answer was that yes, for now we have a task force in place. They are appraising the situation on a daily basis. And at the right time, when there's a need to take that responsible decision, so we don't put our athletes and officials and anybody coming to Tokyo's life in danger, we'll make that decision.
So from Ghana's perspective, what is Ghana's position on this?
Well, I think that Ghana's position would depend on what the situation would be, especially in Europe. And now, if we're also going to take a decision as to us going or us not going, that is something that will be taken in conjunction with the government or with the president of the land. But for now, I don't think that IOC would, looking at what is happening, will still insist or stick to the position that they had about 2 weeks ago when they had their executive board meeting. The spread is becoming so dangerous that it will not be wise for any responsible leader to make a decision and say that, look, let the games come on as scheduled. if you look at what even the position of the Japanese government is now, I listened to Prime Minister Shinzo Abe yesterday, and he's changed from his initial position of, we are ready for it, and if you want us to start tomorrow, we're ready, to now saying that, yes, I think there's a possibility that the games can be postponed. So everybody is changing their position gradually, depending on how the corona situation is going. And I think that we have enough responsible leaders in the world. We have enough responsible leaders in the IOC. And if there's a need to make such a responsible decision, why not? IOC's position has always been that we will not do anything to put the life of athletes, officials, and even the people coming to witness the games in Japan at risk. And I'm sure that based on what I know about these positions or what these leaders stand for, I think that in the next few days there will be responsible statement from the IOC.
Okay.
If IOC doesn't make that responsible statement, we have responsible leaders in this country. I'm sure you all appreciate the decisive decision that our president took when this whole thing started.
Okay.
And I think that when it matters most, trust His Excellency, he will make that decision.
So how does this uncertainty affect the plans of the GOC in terms of operations?
Well, in terms of preparation, let me clarify that most of the preparations are done by the national federations. GOC only comes in when the athletes have qualified for international tournament. That is where we take the athletes, and maybe if there's a pre-games training, we take them there. So for the Olympic Games, we had planned that if things had gone well, from the beginning of May or the end of April, we're going to take all our athletes to a town in Japan called Inawashiro, and then come there for 2 months before the game starts on the 24th of July. But as you are aware, most of our disciplines have not even been able to go to their last qualifier. So we haven't gotten the full complement of our athletes that we're going to take for the games. Things would naturally change, or things will obviously change from where I sit. Once the international federations are all complaining and rescheduling their Olympic qualifiers, obviously it's going to have an effect on the dates that the games will start. I can see from where I am that these games would not start on the 24th of July. The most ideal time would be somewhere in October, and that one I can say for sure.
You have already secured camping base for the athletes and all that, and considering all this uncertainty, does this in one way or the other also make the GOC feel that our hard work probably could be in vain?
No, not at all, because this is a global problem. If it was something that maybe we have delays here in Ghana and it's isolated to only Ghana and there are challenges here, that is why we can't be in Inawashiro, then it's a cause to worry, and then we can say all that and especially spending so much money on the national teams just to get them qualified. We had to go out of our way. It's not the duty of the Ghana Olympic Committee to fund our national teams when they are traveling. But we also came on board to help when we realized that, look, our finance situation in the ministry is not anything good for anybody to rely on, especially for other sports. We even went to the extent of supporting our football teams just so that they can qualify. I don't think all this work that we've done and the monies that we've given to the National Federation will go in vain, because this is a global situation. When and if the times is rescheduled, I'm sure all the qualifiers will be rescheduled. All our our pre-games camping time will be rescheduled. Inawashiro is there forever. It's there, and it's there for us. As and when the games are rescheduled, I'm sure the mayor and all the people in Inawashiro who are waiting to see the likes of Asamoah Gyan being part of our football team, but never came on. Yeah. And now they are expecting our boxers to come walk in the town and interact with the people in Inawashiro. I'm sure it is still there for us, and it will definitely come on. So, as and when the games are scheduled, we would go for the pre-games campaign.
What have you been telling the federations?
Well, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, after our last board meeting, I had given instruction to all the national federation president that, look, if there's no need for you to go to any qualifiers, especially in countries where the corona case is high, you don't need to go. Okay, let our athletes be aware that this is a global problem. And at the right time, I'm sure the international federations will also come up and say, yes, we have cancelled. It didn't take too long. A week later, most of the international federations came up with statements saying that they've cancelled most of their qualifiers. So it really made our work easier. What we need to do, and what I've encouraged most of the presidents to do, is to psych up, especially those who have qualified, those who are on the verge of qualifying, that look, all is not lost, or we haven't lost anything at all. Because a global problem, everything is going to reschedule. And whatever you think that you have lost now, it will still come back to you when the games are rescheduled.
So that is the GOC boss, the Ghana Olympic Committee boss. His name is Ben Nunu Mensah. And then the interview with Mustafa Nabila, who is here as well. Now, some of you have been sending comments on our Facebook page in reaction to the interview with Black Stars player Kwadwo Asamoah.
Many of them have been coming through, and this one from Bawa Tibamo. He says, looking at the way the death rate in Italy keep rising, he was asking Kwadwo Asamoah a question. And this one from Sita Abdul Khalik. He says, a total lockdown is key. Please lock down Ghana. And then he came back again to say that Ghana must totally lock down Greater Accra and Ashanti regions. And then this one from Kwamna Mensah, he says, I keep checking temperatures of my kids twice daily, myself and my wife, as well as washing our hands time and time again with soap and water. Use sanitizers, as well as we try to exercise a bit in the house. And this one again from come on, Kalik, you can't keep saying with you lockdown. If we lockdown, how are we going to survive? And this one from they're all about lockdown. Everyone wants Ghana to be locked down.
Anyway, so those are the comments we got under the live stream. If you want to watch that interview with Kwadwo Asamoah again, it's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Joy 99.7 FM. If you follow me, I'll be sharing it. Mufta will be sharing it as well on his Facebook page. Thank you for doing the listening to the Joy Sports Track. Hopefully, we'll be able to come back next week to bring you another edition of the show. Time now for the news at 2.